Bob Brookins from Specialty Chemicals Industry. Bob, welcome to the show. It's lovely to have Alexium International on our podcast today.
I
Uh,
appreciate you being here.
Bob, let's start with something quite open. It's quite an anomaly to have an Alexium International, sort of South Carolina Greer-based company with 20 odd staff and an ASX listing here. A little bit about that background and also some background on yourself.
That'd be great. So, with the founders of the company originally started as an offshoot of Air Force technology and looking to commercialize that for textile applications. And the core investors that came in the early days were actually based out of Australia, had already listed, done a reverse IPO with other companies, and that just became the genesis of Alexium as you have it today. Now, even in those early days, Alexium was U.S. based in operations in every sense of the word, and with the investor base being there in Australia. So that we've always retained, but it's that really was how we got to that point. I joined Alexium a couple of years after the company had first started. I came in as the head of research and product development. My background is I'm a PhD chemist and for the synthesis of materials. And in the early stages of the company, I was very much research oriented. But as we began getting traction in industry in the evolution of the products, my engagement extended to more commercial matters and also getting operations set up. And that's what really drove me to taking on the role of CEO about 3 years ago. Basically, who Alexium is we're an advanced materials provider for thermal management and flame retardant products. But even more so than that, what we're looking to do is integrate our materials into existing products to fix some intrinsic flaw. You mentioned some adjacent markets that we're going into. Body armor is a great example of that. Body armor is essential for the safety of soldiers and police officers, but it is extraordinarily burdensome. Something I've only learned here in the past, say, 3 months, is that every year in New York City, a police officer dies due to thermal stress of wearing body armor. They have a heart attack, and they consider it just, and how would you say, something they have to accept. It's just the body armor is of such relevance that we just have to accept that is the lesser of two evils. Our job is to integrate our materials so that you're improving the comfort, improving the safety of those products, so they become a better solution for what those people need. Now, in that strategy, we've really been able to prove out how that works for us in bedding, and that's really been a proving ground for what success looks like. And I tend to think of it as three main pieces for what gives us what drives our success. First of all, it's been about understanding the customer needs. We are not interested in research for research's sake. It's got to be innovation to drive value. And unless you have that consultative relationship with the customer, you really can't get there. Now, once we have that understanding, really understand where we need to drive value. If you look at where we are today with our PCM products, bio-based, highest bio content of any PCM in our market, eclipse us. The only product that can allow a true all-night cooling statement. We're defining what is state of the art. And by defining that and owning it the way we can now become the standard of what state of the art is. Now we can, and getting that entrenched within the market, some of that is driving it through retail stores, some of it could be regulatory standards. But at the end of the day, we're looking to set that standard with our customers. Now, lastly, it's about IP, and we have to manage our intellectual property. Because once we win that business, making sure it's secure for the long term is really fundamental to what we do. Now, that model is what we've done in bedding. We've been very successful there, going through a rapid stage of growth right now. We'll continue to see this through the fiscal year. But now we understand, as we have this model established, that we don't only can do this in bedding, we see that we can take this into body armor, helmets, other protective vests, shoes. There's even applications that we've identified around electric automobiles, which is obviously a very fast growing industry. So the technology by no means has any limits. And where we are now, it's about extending that commercial and technical strategy and taking it much more broadly than what we've done in the past. And James, just to clarify, in case for those who may not be able to see or have read all our quarterly reports, this is not something we're simply speculating on. This is real time things that are happening. We'll have some key announcements around body armor coming up this in this quarter, and it's going to be our first commercialization there, which we tend to grow, even beyond that. So we have some important news coming up there.
So what I often get asked, Bob, is taking your cooling chemicals, effectively phase change material chemicals, into sportswear. So where does it stop? Is it, I think backpacks would be an obvious one at some stage when you get there, because, as I said, you have to knock off one thing after the other. Perhaps runners, but does it stop there? Does it get difficult when it gets to running shirts or that sort of attire? Well, chemically, where does it stop? Is it runners, backpacks? Yes, and then it gets a little bit more difficult when it's sort of looser clothing.
Looser clothing, there are things that we can do in that area, but the way I read the market is the products that are currently out there, they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
There's really not that flaw, as I said earlier. But when you look at something like body armor helmets, these are products where people are literally dying because the heat stress created by that. And so that we've identified that whenever you have a product that holds heat close to this person, it gets humid underneath, there's no relief for them. Backpack's another one, right? You wear a backpack and your back gets all sweaty because there's nowhere for the heat to go. Our products are a great solution to address those markets. And what we're looking to do is really address those market opportunities where the rest of the market is assumed there's not a solution.
Okay. And fire retardant chemicals a little bit more, Bob, in terms of the future?
Yeah, flame retardant.
Workwear and things like that?
Yeah, obviously a key area for us right now is in application of our Alexium product going onto flame retardant socks. This is a sock is a barrier fabric that protects the polyurethane from burning it, in case someone was to leave a lit cigarette on a bed. The market pull is very strong here because the current product is actually, the incumbent product is a fiberglass based material. And there's been a number of consumers who have been damaged due to the fiberglass getting released in the environment. So we have a strong pull there, and that's really where our focus is currently. We also have the work that we're doing around military uniforms where we can provide a flame retardant treatment for nylon cotton. I think the key thing, James, is I don't ever see us being flame retardants or us, where we're a catalog company and people come to us and say, I have the same offering everyone else does. We're really going to be targeted in our opportunities, just like I described with thermal comfort, where if there's a flaw in the current product and we see where we have a strong solution there, we're going to go there in a big way. And so it's really that kind of focused targeting. I think that's what helps differentiate us from our competitors. And frankly, it's where we've been successful.
So talk about competition, and I've been asked this several times. There's massive chemical companies out there, Dow Chemicals, RCL, and so forth. And they look at this company kind of under the radar here on ASX, and they say, come on, how's this possible? How is this possible? How can you win?
It's a very different, our model is fundamentally different than the model of a Dow or an ICL. Okay. When we work with customers, we're providing knowledge on market trends, supply chain, production capacity, analytical know-how. And all this is part of the value we bring to our customers when we're selling them a product. Now, so when we work with our customers, it's more as a solution provider than simply being a product supplier. Okay. There are times when our customers might have targeted, we want to make this product this way. We can tell them, look, just down the road, there's someone who has a better piece of equipment. It's better suited to what you need. We already have a product running there. It can meet the needs that you have. We can hit the ground running fast. Now, a large competitor like Dow, while they have that knowledge, they're going to struggle to do that with the speed and quality that we can. Sure, they have people with high technical know-how. Sure, they have people who have knowledge of those markets. But with the bureaucracy and this size, they just don't have the responsiveness or the ability to do what we can do. As being small, we have nimbleness that's on our side. We have competed against Dow in a number of different places, and I hope I'm not getting a target on my back by saying this, but we've never lost to them. And this is with customers who are blatantly telling me, I understand you have a good product, but I prefer to go the Dow because I know their name. But as we work with them and show them using analytics, showing them how to do some better integration for product design to meet what their marketing claims ultimately want to be, they're not getting that type of guidance from others. So it's a very different model. And the way I would describe it is there's two types of customers. If you have a customer for a segment of the market who's simply looking to purchase a product out of a catalog, Dow will beat us every day of the week. Brand name's going to work, and they're going to have economies of scale. But if you're looking for customers who are more focused on product differentiation, trying to better understand how they can integrate our class of products into what they do, that's where we really have our strength and where we've been able to beat the larger companies.
So, Bob, if I say to you, what does success look like to you? Say 5 years, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever you like. What is success for Alexium International? What's the dream? What's the bigger picture in your mind?
I think key part of that is there's obviously measures of financial success, but I think a key marker of success is Alexium as a recognized brand for providing game-changing standards in comfort and safety. Everything we really have built, as we said, in the bedding industry, that brand name. And while we're not I would say an everyday person won't know the name of Alexium, people in our industry know us as one of the major suppliers and lead innovators in this market. Success for us is translating that model, taking it to these adjacent markets, and really growing the business much more beyond where we are here. Now, I'll tell you, James, my view is years from now, 3 to 4 years from now, my goal is Alexium should be a $50+ million company in revenue. Those are the targets we're going after, and I want us to get to that level while retaining that asset-light model, where we're not having to, we're not focused on building a lot of manufacturing capacity, where we're still focused on innovation, and can still retain that type of nimbleness that we have today. Staff count will need to grow accordingly, so there will be some additive expenses there. But operationally, I want to keep it simple, more or less like we have today. Now, I understand people are going to look at Alexium from where we are today and say, wow, that's aggressive. I get that. But as people see our numbers, people need to look at our sales numbers. What happened at the beginning of the year? Where are we today? Where is Alexium telling where we're going in the next couple of months? You can see the trajectory we're on. You'll understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Yeah. But, outside looking in, it's an aggressive target. I can say as the head of the company, those targets are simply about us being focused and continue to execute to the plan. Because the opportunities we're looking at, again, body armor, bedding, helmets, shoes, these are not low value products. These are items that really can give us significant profits and significant revenue that can drive the company to that level.
So really, if I can, just for the person who's out there watching this, what you're saying, Bob, is you're going to ramp up your revenue, you're going to increase by cost, but really your overheads are circa $5 million, roughly. Exactly. So they're going to increase a bit, but the operating leverage in this business is huge.
Exactly.
If you achieve your goals, that's where we're going. So really, it's that revenue is fantastic, but really you get that massive kick on the profit line, and that's what you're aiming to do from a financial context.
And that's something that we're going to try to keep in front of investors as Alexium is growing at the rate that it is over the next 2 years. Because right now, as we're getting to profitability, once we meet that, once we cover our existing expenses, everything, all the additional growth we have beyond that largely goes to the bottom line, because we are such an asset-light model, and we can get so much accomplished with the team that we currently have in place.
Great. So it's contract manufacturing is the way to continue for.
It is. And, I thought about with some discussions I've had with investors recently, there's another aspect to the asset-light model beyond just the value we just described, is that if I establish myself as the go-to person for PCM, for phase change, and I become PCM or us, okay? That means I'm putting in manufacturing sites that are made to manufacture that PCM. And now my focus is maximizing the capacity of that of that product. And I basically become like a DAO because what I'm trying to do is just maximize the production capacity of that. Whereas right now, what we're focused on is being a solution provider. We're really just looking to get the customer to the right product. Now, the reason I developed Eclipsis, or but I was a main inventor, but is of others here, obviously. But the reason we developed Eclipsis is because it does what the PCM could not. And if I was at DAO and had the idea of an Eclipsis, we wouldn't pursue it because it doesn't allow us to leverage our existing assets and to be that solution provider. But with that contract manufacturing model, we can be nimble. If we find that
innovative, flexible, fast.
Exactly.
That's what you want to stay.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know, I think the asset light model was really a matter of speed and convenience in the early days. But as our model has evolved, we're really beginning to leverage it much more beyond that. So it's becoming a more commercial and technical strategy as well.
Great. Bob, thank you very much for your time. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. And look forward to catching up soon.
Absolutely.